on the dot. Hello.
Exactly 10:30.
That's not bad. Perfect. Hello. Good morning, everybody. How are we all, wherever you are in the world? So, as with everything that we do, we need you to give us a little sound check, and then we'll do some hellos. And as the MC of proceedings, we will guide you through an irreverent look at our lives, your lives, and discuss anything that may be of interest to you. So, hello. We've got some hellos.
Hello.
So I'm assuming that Gary can see us and then can hear us.
Yeah, let us know how we look and sound.
I think I look and sound like a little angel most of the time. Unlike someone who's just shaved a bear and put a light blue shirt on him. Anyway.
Nick's had 2 coffees this morning.
3. I'm on
What?
coffee. Yeah, 3.
Oh, I wouldn't have made you the other one if I thought
I'm
it was
going to
your
be
third.
twitching like a dying spider in the next 20 minutes. So get your questions in while you can.
So I'm still on my second coffee.
So,
And yeah.
For all of those of you who are in somewhere else in the world, for us it's morning. It is 10 o'clock at 10:30 in the morning, which to me makes me something akin to a children's television presenter from the 1980s without the love of small children. That was very common back then. So I am your TV
Way to
host.
bring the tone down, Nick.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome to our live stream live from Australia.
Yes.
It is, so 10:30 in the morning. It's about 24 degrees Celsius. No idea what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's warm.
Lovely and warm.
And yes, and hello to all of you. We can do a little bit of hello. So hello to, let's start the first one that's come up. Hello, Chris. Chris is my mother's new favourite person.
What?
What? Sorry, just suddenly become a cockney?
What are you talking about?
Because Chris is the flautist.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So yes.
I've heard all about that.
Yes.
Anyway.
So
No
hello
one
to
else will
everyone.
understand that, but-
Yeah, exactly. So hello to Everwin, to Richard, to Marie again from the Patron. Hello to Jonathan, Tony. Hello, Mike. The Begg family antics. Picked a cat yet? Yes, we have. She's this big. And John, hello. Rachel, hello. Hope everyone in the UK and in Europe is doing fine with the storm that is
Descending.
ravaging. Ravaging can only be used for a couple of different things, really. Bear attacks, storms, and I can't think of any other. There's certain words that really have more than one use, but really only one main connotation, and ravage is that. Storm ravaged, bear ravaged, or ravaged. Yeah. But like girth.
How's your focus going to be today? I feel like it's going to be a constant battle to keep you focused today.
Welcome
He's
to
very excited to see you all.
Yeah, I am. So welcome to the last 11 years of your life.
Indeed.
Anyway, so welcome to our live stream.
Wayo is from Kenya. That's cool.
Kenya.
We've got someone watching from Kenya.
Excellent. Hello from Kenya.
Yeah, let us know where you're all from, or where you're all watching us from. We've got Michigan, we've got Quebec, somewhere called King Island. Where the heck is King Island? That sounds amazing.
I'll show you King Island later. All right.
Okay, you need to calm down.
All right. So welcome to the live stream. We have a lot of announcements, a lot of questions, and a lot of things that we can answer for you. So, as per our last format, what we are going to do is run through things that we need to run through, announcements, and then we'll get on to the meat of this. So first things first, and I managed to hopefully find a really clever way of showing you what I'm doing rather than just telling you this. So hopefully at this side of the screen there is there's a competition that we put out. A couple of, it's that way, yeah, there you go, Therese is there. A competition we put out on the 1260 video. And that competition was to win these 2 books by Lynn Pardy. And as with most of our competitions, you don't have to do much to win. It's all kind of laid back. And so the competition was for the nicest comment on the one we thought was the nicest, we would give these 2 books to. And after much deliberation, what are you laughing about? It was a lot of deliberation. The winner of these books was someone called Andre Hurwitz. So Andre Hurwitz, let us know where you are in the world and we will get Lynn to send you these 2 books out. So congratulations to Andre for just a really nice answer on the 1260 video. So yeah, those are 2 pretty good cruising guides. For those of you who don't know, Lynn Hardy is a pretty awesome sailoress. Sailoress. Is it sailoress?
I think just sailor.
Sailor.
We're all just sailors.
We are. It's true, actually. Inadvertent sexism once
again.
Love.
Pulling you off on it. Once again.
All right, darling. So
just tell me to smile more, and then
cheer up,
you
love.
have the trifecta.
cheer up, love. Put some makeup on, a nice dress on it, as she beats me to death with a can of Busch Light. Those 2. So Lynn Hardy, really famous sailor, did 200,000 miles in a 30-foot boat with no engine with her husband, and
that's insane.
Yeah. And literally, when we were messaging each other a couple of months ago, she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm anchored off the Tasmanian coast," and like she's like 70 something, I think. She's
been going for a long time.
She's pretty bloody awesome.
Yeah.
So thanks to Lynn Hardy for kind of like putting those books forward. So that's that. So next thing we have to do is my usual fun and games with this, which is the random number generator. Now the random number generator is for Patron, the Patron competition. So literally, to try and get this out of the way so that you don't all go, for crying out loud, get on with it. We're going to generate 5 random numbers, and those 5 random numbers are linked to
they
correspond to patrons, and you win a prize. So
what kind of prize, pray tell?
What sort of prize? I'm thinking a goat. No, so it's our merchandise. So I think what we're going to do, how do we throw this way? Because it's spring, people are going into spring sailing. How about we give away 3 beanies, a long sleeve top, and a hoodie?
Sounds like a plan.
So 3 beanies.
3 beanies.
3 beanies. Who gets 3 beanies?
No,
okay.
You said 4. You said 4 people.
5 people, Brian.
Oh, 5.
5.
Okay.
3 beanies, long sleeve top, and a hoodie. How's that work for you? Yeah,
it works really well.
All right, number 1, and I've got to do this so that you don't think I'm cheating. We're on 4, so 327.
327. 327.
You need to be writing this down, otherwise you forget.
I know. I'm gonna have to rewatch this so that I 327. Oh god, I'll get there eventually. Wes Shipman, you just won a beanie.
Wes Shipman has won a beanie. Well done, Wes. Congratulations.
Do we have a picture of the beanie? No.
We don't. No. Number 7.
Okay.
Number 7 is the proud recipient of a beanie. As with everything, it is literally we send you the beanie. You literally just have to cover the postage. So who is 7?
Alex Catamaran.
Alex Catamaran, yeah. Alex, so congratulations.
Alex has been on Patron for a long time.
He has,
so
actually.
That's exciting.
Number 7. And the third one, 60.
60.
This is Google random number generator. It's not me just like I'm set something up.
Daniel White.
Daniel. So Daniel, you are the proud recipient of a beanie. Number 4. This is a long sleeve top,
t-shirt.
either in men's or women's. 2.
2.
2.
Abraham. Oh, that's exciting.
Abraham.
He's been at Patreon for a long time as well.
And finally, that's a long sleeve t-shirt.
Yep.
And this.
For the hoodie?
The hoodie, 39.
39. Chris Hutchison.
There you go, Chris.
Chris Hutchison.
There we go. So that is the competition. That is going to be regular in our live feed.
Yeah,
for those
so
of
all
you
patrons are in the draw for the
You're just
prize.
in it. You're in it
You're
permanently.
just in it.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not. Whether you want another beanie or a
it's
hoodie.
Like, please, I don't want to pay you well postage. So anyway, that's what you're getting. So well done there. So anyway, any questions that you have about what we're doing, we're happy to answer those, and then we'll move on to some other announcements, because we do have some announcements about Ruby Rose 2 to give you.
But first, let us say hello to Billy and Sierra and Jetty, who are watching today.
Yeah, do you know what? We've met Jetty a couple of times, but we've met Billy and Sierra many, many times, and we are looking forward to catching up with them, hopefully multiple times during the next 12 months. They are genuinely the nicest people you could ever wish to meet, except when Billy's wrecked on tequila, then he turns into someone different. But for those of you who don't already know, I can see from the stream of questions that are coming up, you obviously know Billy and Sierra, a lot of you, but if you haven't already caught up with them, head over to their channel at Tula's Endless Summer, and you'll be in for a treat. I think a treat, yeah. A real treat.
A real treat.
Like chicken and waffles on a cold winter's morning. There you go.
Okay. So what order shall we do this in?
Well, let's take some questions first.
Yeah, let's take some questions. Okay. So oh god, the questions are going so quickly that I've lost it already. But somebody asked, when are you going back to Brittany? Brittany being part of France, obviously. And we are going back to the boat, which is on the west coast of France, in about a month. And we will be setting sail very soon after that. So hopefully by the end of March, we'll be sailing along the coast of Western France, the coast of Brittany, and then up to the Channel Islands, and then the south coast of England. So we've got a pretty exciting, I think it's very exciting, season ahead in Ruby Rose, and we cannot wait to get started. We're getting started a little bit earlier than normal.
Yep.
So the weather, we're hoping cooperates, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, so expect lots of whinging from Nick about the cold. Yes,
but it's a different season for us. For those of you who are in the know, and for those of you who are kind of new to this, we are taking Ruby Rose 1 back to the UK. This is our last season with her, and she's been an amazing boat. And as I was saying in the previous live feed, I probably think in a few years' time we'll buy her back. Because she, for what we want, in maybe, as I get even older, she's a perfect coastal cruiser, but we've got plans for the next 5-10 years. But so this will be our last season, and it's a nice, hopefully, I'm not going to tempt Providence here, hopefully it's going to be a nice calm season. We've got some amazing cruising grounds to see. For those of you who aren't familiar, the west coast of France has just the most amazing sets of islands. There must be 10 or 12 little islands which are inhabited, and they are absolutely stunning. I mean, I know that Billy and Sarah are watching, and if they've just come from the French islands in the Caribbean. These are same culture, same food, but some of them rocky, some of them kind of like beautiful and flat and sandy, and literally we sailed these islands a few times before we set off in 2015, so we're really familiar with them, and they are some of the greatest cruising ground in the world, especially if you like shellfish, because the water's cold. So that is that's our plans. So our vague plans, we're going to leave La Rochelle probably beginning of April, and then we will be heading up the Brittany coast. We're then going to spend probably a good while in the Channel Islands. There's places that we went before,
Belle-Île and Île-d'Yeu.
And exactly. Someone says Hua and Brihat are fantastic places.
They're gorgeous.
Île de Groix, Île de Ré, there's all these islands that we've been to before. And literally, we've always been, I find psychologically that when you're doing, and I'm sure that those of you who sail may relate to this, if you're doing, say you've got 2 weeks off, you kind of pootle away from your home port. And then at the point at which you turn the boat round to go home, something changes in you psychologically, and you're like, I've got to get home. And once you're heading home, you literally you put your foot on the gas. And so for us, normally these islands we kind of like skip through. We'd spend a night or two there, but these islands, literally, we just want to anchor, take the dinghy ashore, just really go and explore them. And it's kind of like, so that's going to be a really kind of leisurely part of seeing, Chaumont-Maritimes, which is where La Rochelle is, southern Brittany, northern Brittany, around the coast. There is some really, for those of you who are not in the know, that part of the world has some really crazy tidal flows. So there's a lot of going to be passage planning. There is a race called the Raz de Seine, which is it's part of the western coast of France, and between the mainland coast of France and an island which is about a mile offshore, and the tide in there is about 6 knots, and if you literally have to get your transit through that area down to the 15 minutes, so you've got to really kind of time that right. So you literally, it's gonna be a lot of work with tidal calculations. So hopefully for those of you,
that's not the only one. The Alderney race,
there's loads of them,
challenging.
Of them.
So from a navigational point of view, this year is going to be far more challenging than anything that you've seen on our channel so far, and we're really excited about sharing kind of that side of things with you, because sailing between Caribbean islands is loads of fun, and obviously you do need to navigate, but you don't need to take into account any tidal streams or anything like that, and this is basically going to be our life for the next 3 months.
Yeah, so
I think it'll be really interesting for you guys as well. It's a different type of sailing.
Yeah,
it's going to be
and
really
beautiful.
Cool.
And the only problem is, the only thing we found is, unfortunately, the French have got some really, really strict drone regulations. And the entire west coast of France is deemed a no-fly zone.
Yeah.
I think there are so many submarine pens and kind of like secret naval bases there that we can't fly a drone for the entire season until we get to the Channel Islands. And so after Brittany, we'll head to the Channel Islands because we are kind of, it's a really nice part of the world. And again, we went through there. And then we hope to be doing a little bit of the south coast of the UK on the way back to Itchenor, which is where Ruby Rose will be put up until someone else wants her. So yeah, that's our plan. That's the season. We are looking forward to that. Someone asks, and we've asked this a lot about, expecting any problems due to Brexit? Not anymore. There was a few phone calls that I've had to place with the Royal Yachting Association's legal team, and really it's to do with the tax status of the boat and how that's affected going forward. So long as the boat is in EU waters on the 31st of January 2020, which she was, and we can prove that, which essentially is marina receipts, we're okay. So we're clear of that, so that's good. So there's Brexit shouldn't cause problems now, although we never know what happens.
Yeah.
So there you go. Disc asks, on the topic of drones, do we need a license for a drone? You need different countries have different regulations. So when we went to Thailand, we were going to take a drone, but again, it was so onerous to get the license because you couldn't do it online. You had to literally take three filled in forms to the police station the popo to get a drone license. So that was difficult. In America, it's done online, but you have to. When we were in the States, literally had to comply with the because it's a federal offence to fly it without. And apparently America got some very harsh jail sentences for stuff like this. You've got to kind of do things in a certain way. So yeah, everywhere's different. So we do have to look to local drone regulations as going forward. In certain countries, and you can read about, there's so many forums for drone pilots. Literally, they get confiscated at customs, and you're meant to get them back, but people are like, nah, never get it back. Never got it back.
So, let us move on. Sarah Smith asks a very, very relevant question, which is, what are your plans for sailing the next few years? And we do indeed have something to tell you all about our plans for the next few years. Nick, would you like to do the honours?
Which one is it?
I don't know.
Well, we've got a few big announcements, right?
I thought it was just the one.
Well, we're getting married. That one?
Oh, yeah, no, that wasn't the one I was talking about.
That's the most important thing to me.
Definitely not true. Yes, Nick and I are getting married this year at an undisclosed location.
So Tracy Island. So that's the first thing. So part of the reason that we're having to kind of cut our sailing season a little bit short is that, after all these years of living in sin, we're going to just continue living in sin.
But in a different way.
Legally living in sin. So that's one reason. So I know that a lot of you know about this. And the next question is, did you video it? And the answer for this is yes and yet no. So we did video it. The proposal.
Oh, the proposal.
The proposal.
Yeah.
So we videoed it. We were in Thailand. And it was. I had this all planned. Literally, I'm like, all right, well, you know what? I'll get a ring, hide it somewhere, try and get it through Thai customs without it getting confiscated, hiding it somewhere. And then we chartered a boat. So we were, sailing off this beautiful little island. And I'm like, all right, this is going to work out smoothly. Literally, I'm sitting there trying to passage plan so that I thought, well, that's a nice beach. There's a nice little place I can propose to her. And you know what? I mean, for those men and indeed women that have proposed to their partners, you know that you probably should put a bit of planning into it. You don't want to just whiz up the Eiffel Tower and or do something else, that's fairly. So I kind of thought, I'm going to try and do something. So literally, I had to go and buy a ring. Firstly, which is.
It's not easy to do when we spend all our time together.
Exactly.
I was quite impressed that you managed to sneak away and do that.
Well, I got so many quarters in those little machines outside of Walmart that it took me ages to get the ring out. So that was the first thing. So first I had to go and procure a ring, which that was the first thing. Then I had to get it put into a box that didn't look like a ring box, so that if she went rooting through my suitcase, she didn't find that either. So that was that. So then we did a passage plan. I'm like, well, I knew the date because the date is our anniversary.
Yeah. So
I've got a date. So listen, passage plan is, we'll be anchored there. And if we anchor there, then there's a nice beach and we can do it. Brilliant. Well laid plans of mice and men. First thing that could put a cramp in it is Teresa was in an absolutely terrible mood that day. I know you don't look at this face and think, okay, she was in a piss of a mood, weren't you?
Yeah, literally, I was a bit grumpy.
A bit grumpy, yeah.
Well, yeah, I had just broken my laptop, so I was in a really terrible mood because I'd broken my laptop through my own stupidity. So that, as you know, when you do something so stupid and you ruin an extremely valuable piece of equipment that you need, that tends to put you in a bad mood for a few days. So
for a few days, yeah, all right. Anyway. So basically, literally, she's in this absolutely foul mood. And I thought, well, I'm going to film this. I'm going to film all this stuff. And so I'm setting the camera up and I'm thinking, because the idea was we were going to do we were going to do a shot, a camera shot of us doing a cheers.
Yes, we were just filming us having an evening drink.
Yeah, so of course she's now getting crankier and crankier because she's like, why are you doing all this? Just take the bloody, just let me drink my beer. And I'm like, all right, anyway. So that was in all fairness, this is important for our marriage. We're stuffed, right? Anyway, so got the shot, and it was a beautiful moment.
It was a lovely moment.
It was a beautiful moment. Two problems. Number one, we just bought a new camera. We kind of took this time in Thailand to kind of invest in some really, better camera equipment, and didn't realise that we had to plug the microphone into a different socket, so the sound was awful. That's the first thing. Second thing is, because we were filming in 4K, again, because we decided to try filming in 4K, when we got back to Bangkok, all our memory cards are full. So Teresa, in her infinite technical wisdom, decides to erase a few of the shots.
Well, I thought that I had backed it up onto the computer, but I was wrong.
Yeah. And so she deleted it.
I deleted it.
So there you go.
So it will forever live in our memories.
It will. It will live in my bloody memory.
As a very lovely moment.
It will.
And we'll make sure that the wedding does not suffer from any such technical
Exactly.
hiccups.
That's exactly where we want to be.
Larry says, is there a baby on the way? No, there is not, Larry.
No.
Just to make that clear.
Oh, no.
Okay. So now that you've at length told me off for deleting one of your more romantic moments.
Teresa, all I would say to you on this particularly beautiful issue is that if I had done that, I'd be living it down in 2060.
Yes.
Because you do occasionally remind me of things that I've done wrong 10 years after the fact.
But luckily you are taking the high road and not doing any such thing. Anyway, so yes, we're getting married later this year.
My next tattoo is going to be I told you so written on the back of my neck.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Okay. The next thing that we kind of are going to talk about is Ruby Rose 2, because I know that we have naturally come to the end of our Catamaran series. Now, for those of you who have just tuned in that thought they were going to be seeing Casey Neistat or someone else, for the last 10 months we have been exploring catamarans as a concept. And do we buy a new catamaran? Do we go to a monohull? Do we go and do what's our next boat going to be? Because one thing that we have decided is that Ruby Rose 1, she's done what we wanted to do with her. She was perfect for Europe and perfect for the Atlantic. We want to go remote and we want to go Pacific, and that is we need a bigger or different boat. So it's important for the timeline, because as someone pointed out on the Patron WhatsApp group, it gets a little bit confusing if you aren't aware of our particular timeline for doing this. So about January last year, so about 12 months ago, we decided that we were going to buy a new boat, that we'd come to the end of our time with Ruby Rose 1. We then started going to boat shows to just see what was on the market, because I can tell you a shed ton about monohull construction and nothing, or I couldn't tell you anything about catamaran construction. And so I thought, well, we better go and educate ourselves. And of course we started videoing, and so that's our journey. So we went to the big French multi-hull boat show in April. We went to the Southampton boat show. We went to the Annapolis boat show. And basically looked at 19 catamarans, didn't we? We've done that. Thank you, Samuel. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, I'll need that for the memory class. Yeah.
So
we learned our lesson there.
So literally, with 19 reviews under our belt, we kind of stopped it in October and thought, well, we've kind of seen one of everything that is probably, on our radar. And just to kind of go through this, a lot of the catamarans were way, way beyond our price range. So, for the people who occasionally comment and, obviously have just had a really bad weekend with their kids or their wife's nagging them, or, they put snarky comments like, oh, you're looking at this stuff you can't afford. And the answer in a nutshell is that there's a lot of stuff that after it's 8 years old is affordable. So, but the best way of quantifying boats is to see them new. So anyway,
sorry, just a quick thank you to Bill. That's really generous.
Thank you. So we got to October. We've done 19 catamarans. We've seen one of about every mark that we could see. There are some that we haven't looked, like we didn't see Dazcat. We haven't looked at Gumboat. We haven't looked at the Barley. All for really, well.
We didn't look at the, there's that new, is it OVNI or Alirat?
Yeah, it's not even out yet. It's not made yet.
It's
not made yet. So there's a few that we haven't seen, but I thought 19 was enough. And it kind of got to the point where by October, there were no real boat shows of any note that we were interested in until Miami, which is next week. And by that point, we're like, okay, we know kind of what we're looking for in a boat. Now, the announcement that we have, and we're going to be pretty careful about this because we are not ready to announce what the boat is. Mm-hmm. We have made a choice, and the reason we're not ready to announce it yet is genuinely not because we're like stringing it out and telling you, so that all go, oh my God, it's not about fishing you in. It is because we don't have a lot of the information that we want to be able to put to you. Now, the new boat, we hope to have like all the information like released for you in about a month, 6 weeks, around that. So really by April, beginning of May, we should have everything out and available to tell you about what Ruby Rose 2 is. In the meantime, we do have some test sail videos. We've got the Leopard 45 test sail video that's out for patrons, but will be out in general release next week. We've got Sea-Wind 1260 test sail, which will be out probably the week after. And then we've got literally the top 10 video. Now that top 10 is the stuff that's voted for by you. So at the moment, I think we have about 3,000 of you that have really kindly gone onto our app and voted for your favorite catamarans and graded them. So that's the best way that we can give a public vote on what is the best catamaran based on your voting. There have been some of you that have been trying to game the system, but we've got ways around that. So so that's the so that is the next 3 or 4 weeks of our video production, isn't it? How we the test sales and the top 10. And we were talking about, and someone's just mentioned, doing a top 3 of what we do,
what we like.
Yeah, so what we like. So I think that's important that we talk about those features. Anyway, Ruby Rose 2. Therese, I'm going to let you do this one because I did the last one.
So we, despite the fact that we can't tell you as much as we want to, because we are still, well, it'll all become clear as I explain, but there is still a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of kind of, ducks that we need to get in a row before we make a full announcement. But what we can tell you is that we are working with a catamaran manufacturer, who is taking on board some of our suggestions to create a signature version of a boat that they are producing, and it will be a Ruby Rose signature version of their boat. And we are heavily involved in the design of that boat, both small things that perhaps you may not pick up on at first glance, but also more kind of major design features as well. And we can't yet tell you which manufacturer it is, unfortunately. We're itching to tell you, and I know you guys.
And we will.
We will, but they are not yet ready to deal with the kind of influx of attention that they might get. They need to make sure that they've got all of their kind of as I said, ducks in a row before they can deal with that kind of requests for information. So what we can say is that this boat will be available to be purchased by members of the public. You can go out and buy it yourself, or you will be able to once it's being built. But we will be the ones kind of involved in the process.
So from our point of view, I mean, for those of you who kind of have watched me rabbit on about boats for longer than a year now, I mean, I am super interested in boat design. I always have been. So when a company comes to us and say, look, we are in the process of designing something amazing based on stuff that we've already got, do you want to be involved in, aspects of the design? I'm like, yes, yes,
yes,
and
please.
yes, please. So just to clear up the things that we were asked in the Patron live stream, I'm not a naval architect, so the hull shape, the mast rake and the performance, nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
This has been done by people that are far, far cleverer than I will ever be. So it's a well-renowned naval architect that is doing the designs on this. But we were able to step in at a very early age in the planning of all this and say, look, there are certain things that we really value in the design of a boat, and go to them and say, look, for instance, one thing that you hear about a lot from us is life raft, and joinery and other bits and the weight of certain things, and literally. And so I think we went to them with 2 to 3 sides of design features that we wanted to see integrated into a boat, and they've said we can get most of those put in for you, because it's not just us that's going to benefit from this. This is a boat that is going to be in general production. So when we can take the knowledge of going to look at 19 catamarans in depth and say, that's got a brilliant feature, or that's got some brilliant features, or that's better, we can then take it and kind of like condense it into literally the perfect catamaran for us. So we were like super, like it was amazing. Like for me, I was like walking around like in a daze. So it is probably the most exciting thing we've ever done in our sailing career.
Yeah, and it's going to be a huge project. And I just want to say a quick thank you to Frank. That's very kind of you, Frank. Thanks very much. It's going to be an absolutely massive project. We are involved, as we said, at every stage of the design, and then once the boat is in production, we'll be involved there as well. We still are discussing with both the manufacturer and also like the third-party companies exactly what is going to go onto and into the boat. So this is another reason why we can't tell you just yet all the details that we want to, because we are still in that stage where we're having conversations and we're making decisions, but we're very excited. So what can we say about this boat? Okay, so
let's just start with what the specific design criteria that we put in. We will put all this to you. Now what we were saying is, I mean, at the moment 215 of you have liked this. If you could all just click the like button, we'd be super appreciative of that if you're not watching on a television, because I don't think you can on the TV. But there's a lot of things that we need to put out to you in that we're going to put out on PDFs, because there's a lot of documentation and photographs. So we are putting out a video later today actually, which kind of like has some links that if you want more information on this, just sign up for our newsletter, then we can send you like the PDFs and schematics as and when and if we get them. So there's a lot of technical information, and we want to be able to present that all to you in a package, so you can say, look, this is what it's going to be. So lots of technical stuff, lots of backups as well. We kind of have refused to go down the road where we don't have manual or mechanical backups to anything. So we would be talking about, like, people would talk about C-Zone, and when we were talking to Phil in Annapolis, Phil Berman, the CEO of Balance Catamarans, he was like, we don't like C-Zone because it disables your engine. No, it's not going to do that for us. We're going to have something. We're going to literally have mechanical switches that can be flipped, so that we can run a dark boat. For those of you not in the know, a dark boat is a boat that you've been hit by lightning and you've just got manual power. So it's going to be firstly It's going to have backup after backup after backup. It's not going to be a coastal cruiser. This is a dedicated blue water cruiser. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, and we've looked long and hard at this. It's not that we've just been sat around, looking at this, sunbathing. We have put 2 months now of work into the designs and meetings over this boat. We are all but set on going with the greenest boat that we can. Now, just to quantify, the first thing that people are going to ask is, are you going with electric engines? And the answer is no, we're going with diesel engines. And I will explain this as we look at it. We need a boat that has a motoring range which is about 1,000 miles. And you can't get that in an electric engine, that's the first thing. So you need range to be able to get away from storm systems, in case you get caught in a wind hole that's caused by a low that's swinging in. That's the first thing. Second thing is, there is a little bit of sleight of hand on electric engines. I know that UMA have one, and we've talked a lot to Dan and Kika about their engine. They have a range which is about 200 miles, which is brilliant for what they are doing. But we need to get to the South Pacific, and we are going to need a range that is longer. And so electric engines aren't going to be able to do that for us. Number 3, we want engines that can be fixed by a mechanic no matter where you are in the world. Now, realistically, even if you blow the top end, or sort of the big end on a diesel engine, or blow all the valves and the gaskets, you can normally get it fixed in a machine shop somewhere. Diesel mechanics are in every part of the world. And 4, the sleight of hand with most boats that have electric propulsion systems is that they need a massive genset. Now, we sat down literally with do a lot of electrical calculations as to what our electrical requirement would be to run 2 electric engines in a Catamaran, and the answer that came back is we would need an 11 kilowatt genset, which is pointless. What is the point of having 2 electric engines? I mean, out and say, we've got electric engines, and then you've got an 11 kilowatt genset which pollutes far greater than a Yanmar or a Volvo engine. So the electric thing. So that's the first thing. We are not going for a hybrid propulsion system, because at the moment it's not where we want it to be. We are, however, going on, we're not getting a genset, so we are going to rely for consumables and for domestic almost entirely on solar, well, completely on solar and lithium. So the idea is that we try and move away, and this boat is performance oriented, so we don't believe that unless we need to get into port or we're caught in a wind hole, we should be able to sail pretty effectively. And
even in very light winds.
In very light winds and pretty high.
Yeah. Just a quick thank you to Nick. That's very generous
of you, Nick. Darcy. That's really kind of you, sir.
That's lovely.
So
yes, it's going to be a green boat apart from the engines.
Yeah. Now, we're getting a lot of people asking questions about, where have you had this boat? Where's it being built? Firstly, we're not going to tell you, but for all of those of you who are saying, you've been to, you've had meetings in so-and-so. We have been to France, we've been to Thailand, we've been to the US
Germany.
To have meetings. We've been to Germany for meetings. We've been to the south coast of the UK for meetings, and we probably will end up going to South Africa for something in the next year. So the location, we've been fairly clear, to obfuscate the trail of breadcrumbs that you think we may have been
leading you.
So
yes, so we can't give you any hints about who the manufacturer is, and that's not because we're being coy, as we said. That's just because they are not yet ready for the information to be in the public domain. So let's take some of your more specific questions. There'll be some that we can't answer, but we'll let you know that we can't answer them. So Jordan's asked if we're having dagger boards. We can't answer that just yet. No wind generator. That is correct. We're not going to have a wind generator. Again, at the moment, we're working on about 1,000 watts of solar panels. And again, for those of you that are into nerdy technical stuff, we are going to be super involved with putting across to you technical information about the build, our choices, installations of stuff. So that really, I think this is probably a first. I know that La Vagabond and with their
Outremer 45, but I don't think that they customised that boat heavily at all. I think they've got a stock boat. This is actually something that we have had input in literally from a design perspective.
And also we will, our boat, our exact boat, the way that we've kitted it out, all of the extras on board, everything will be available to buy. So you will literally be able to buy essentially
the Ruby Rose.
Our boat.
So
which is pretty exciting. So we're going to kit it out for offshore cruising, for being completely self-sufficient, as green as possible, and all of those features will be able to be available for you to buy as, I guess, an entire boat.
Okay.
Some more questions.
One question just pulled up, actually. Someone's asked here, said, 1,000 watts, so no AC. Actually, we are going to have AC on this boat because the latest, again, it's all about innovation and AC compressors and current draw. And so the calculations we've done, just to kind of go through our green issues. At the moment, we are going to have either an electric oven, an electric hob, or both. And again, it's a lot to do power calculations. So so for those of you who are asking about gas, we will probably, I'm not sure, but there's definitely going to be some electric stuff in the galley, either one or both. And again, it depends on what my discussion with the engineer that's dealing with the electrical capacities on this boat is Christmas dinner. What do we do? How do I cook? How do we have the oven on for 2 hours and cook Christmas dinner, which is kind of like just arbitrarily the most difficult and electrically intensive meal of the year. So we just need to run through those calculations. But a lot of technology that's coming along, and even between now and the boat being delivered, it's improving so quickly. So we are super kind of like excited about getting this electrical calculation so that we can not be reliant completely on propane.
So some more questions. A lot of you are asking about the price range, ballpark figure. We don't have that information yet. The manufacturer doesn't have that information yet. I'm sure they've got a better idea than we do, but we don't know.
Yep.
So that kind of information will be available, I guess, in the second round of information that we put out. So I'm sorry that we can't tell you that just yet, but that will be coming.
So Ricky asks about high-powered alternators. So that's the plan we're going to use. We propose to use smart alternators or 2 smart alternators to generate enough electricity into a big lithium bank. 1,000 watts of solar, and we also have experience with hydro generators. And really, because this is a performance-oriented catamaran, there's a little hint for you. We believe that we can generate enough cruising speed to power the boat self-sufficiently using something similar to the Watt & C that we already have on Ruby Rose. And really, at about 8 knots, our Watt & C generator is turning out 20 amps, which essentially powers the boat with minimal loss of performance due to drag. So there's a lot.
Jordan has asked about the length, and again, that's not something we can tell you just yet. That type of information will all be forthcoming ASAP. People are asking about washer dryer, water maker.
Yes.
As Nick said, air conditioning. As we said, we're just having to do the calculations now, but our wish list is definitely AC, water maker, and at least a washing machine.
So I think we had this big discussion about what we consider to be luxury or essential items on a boat, and after living on board for 5 years, a washing machine is it's moved from a luxury to an essential for us. So we are going to be looking at a washing machine. We're looking at the new high efficiency aircon units, and someone, I can't see who it is, has asked a lot about battery banks. The battery bank we are looking at the moment at 600 amp hours of lithium, which essentially, based on a conservative figure, 80% use before it becomes flat. I mean, they say you can use 100%. So we're looking at about 500 amp hours. Now, the basic calculation for our electric oven is about 120 amps. So even at night, we can run that for 4 hours. And we're going to probably go with induction hobs, which are super efficient electrically. So I think that really we're probably looking at 500 amps amp hours of battery bank that's usable, between 500 and 600. But don't forget, that's with nothing going in. So 1,000 amps of 1,000 watts of solar panels on a 12 volt system. That's going to be about 80 amp hours going in. I think. Let me just do the maths. Someone confirm that maths.
Okay, so some more questions. Someone asked, will we be filming the entire process? Yes, we will be filming as much as we are allowed to film. I'm sure that there'll be some aspects of the build that the manufacturer does not want us filming, but we'll be filming as much as we can.
Yep.
Another question, will you have a dive tank compressor? That's a great question. We're still talking about weight and about exactly like where we're going to stow things, but yeah, that's definitely on our wish list. That would be awesome.
Yep.
People are asking about the length. Yeah, we can't tell you that just yet.
Because
and then someone's also asking about sail drive or shaft drives, and we can't say that yet either.
So Nadeem,
I actually don't think I know.
Well,
you probably know.
I do.
Yeah.
So Nadeem says 600 amp hours is not enough. I have got to the point where literally it's not to do with the bank capacity, it's to do with how much is usable and how effectively you can recharge it. Essentially, if you've got a 600 amp hour bank versus, say for instance, he's actually written an 1800 amp hour bank, which is 3 times that. Even with lithium batteries, you are looking at weight, and literally we are talking about, I've got to the point where I'm such a nerd on this that I am considering actually getting a set of scales and weighing everything that goes on, so I have a better idea of what is going in. So for me, I would say that a 300 amp hour battery is going to be about 50 kilos. So that's 100 kilos of batteries. Now to triple that to put 1800 amp hours in, you're adding another 100 kilos, and that's not going to be something that we're going to be interested in. Where we're taking weight off the boat. Billy and Sierra are still watching. They haven't fallen asleep when I'm ranting. Billy is super kind of up with weight, and catamarans are so super weight sensitive. So there's a lot that we'll be doing to kind of work with management of weight. So so we're probably 600 at the moment is where we believe is the sweet point between weight and sustainability. So that's that. So that's the first thing. Any other questions? And now listen, what I was going to say to you is a lot of questions, because we are literally getting hundreds. If we haven't asked you, answered, just ask them again, and we'll try and get them.
Okay, so there's a couple of questions about us being in Miami. No, we are not going to Miami this year, unfortunately. So if you guys are in Miami for the boat show, then have fun. Unfortunately, we are not able to attend. Thanks very much, Declan. That's awesome. So he says, so what about the cost of the boat ballpark? Yeah, I wish I could answer that, Declan.
We can't answer that.
We can't. A, we don't know yet.
Yep.
And B, even if we did know, that's for the manufacturer to make public, not for us at the moment. So we can't say.
The other someone says disc 0 is 600 amp hours in each hull. Now, again, it's an interesting question, and maybe it's a tongue-in-cheek comment, but again, because I'm a bit of a nerd about this, where you're putting weight into especially a catamaran, you want it centralized. So there's that sort of thing. Also, the further you have your battery bank from the areas that need charging, the greater the battery inefficiency, because you get a huge amount of voltage drop across cabling. So the cabling, don't underestimate the weight. I think our current battery cables are about 18 mil across, so that that I'm not quite sure what the square area, the area of them is, but they are really thick. So to have like 5 meters of cable is going to be it's too much weight.
But regardless, this is the journey that we'll be going on, and this is exactly the type of thing that we'll be like filming and sorting out and trying to, I guess, problem solve, is where is that sweet spot between keeping the weight down but also having enough battery power to power everything that we need. So these are the types of questions that we think that we hope we've got the answer to at the moment, because we want to have that answer obviously as we're building the boat. but obviously we don't know until we're actually out there sailing
sailing.
and using. I mean, all I would say is that a lot of these items, like the AC, for example, we won't be using the air conditioning very often at all. People have been saying, what's the ventilation like? Unsurprisingly, the ventilation is going to be fantastic. So, we are designing this boat to try and keep the amount of power that we need to a minimum. And that also comes into our decision regarding whether or not we're going to go electric for our stove and oven. This is another question. Perhaps we'll have like a gas oven, for example, and just an induction stove. So it's kind of this type of juggling act that we're going to be doing. You guys, we might be sitting here this time next year and saying, that actually didn't work out. We had to add some more lithium batteries. So, this is the journey that we're going to be going on. People have asked, when is this boat being built and when will you take delivery? So we don't have a specific date just yet. The manufacturer is working really, really hard to get to the point where they're able to get this boat, we'll get the show on the road essentially. We will be taking delivery next year. So next year, and we hope to, again, the questions that we had over on the Patreon feed was, is this boat going to be at boat shows? Yes, it will. We don't know when, but because the boat is going to be in general production, just because Ruby Rose 2 won't be at boat shows, other versions of this boat will be at boat shows. So you'll be able to see it. You'll probably be able to see our boat at some boat shows if we're in the locality, but this boat is being put into general production. So this is why we're kind of, getting a custom one-off design is, for me, would be a dream come true, to be able to go to a boat manufacturer and say, look, we've got these designs we'd like to integrate in. Can you build this for us? Because loads of people say yes. To get to a manufacturer to say, oh, we can build this boat and then we'll put it into general production, it's like, wow. That is probably, it is, I think, probably one of the biggest events of my entire sailing career. So let's get some more questions. Lots of people have asked whether it's going to be galley up or down. I believe it's going to be galley up.
We're thinking we're fairly sure galley up.
There's still some discussion.
I think
it's galley up. We personally don't have any preference.
We don't have any preference, so but it's probably up.
Okay, so people are asking questions about Ruby Rose, as in our current Ruby Rose. And as I said earlier at the very beginning of this live feed, let's not lose kind of sight of the fact that we are going to be sailing Ruby Rose, our Southerly 38, to some really awesome places this year. We will be sailing from the west coast of France all the way up the western French coast, the Brittany coast, the Channel Islands, and also the south coast of England this year. So that is going to be really fun. As we were saying, I think it was actually to our patrons in our Patron live feed, which we had just before this, we are in a completely different cruising ground this year. It's going to be much more challenging from a navigational point of view, and we are going to be sharing all of that process with you, how we navigate around these really challenging waters with really like crazy tidal streams, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be really fun from a sailing point of view this year. So that's what we're going to be doing over the next few months, probably over the next 6 months, and then we will be selling Ruby Rose, unfortunately.
So as of July, Ruby Rose will be in the brokerage in Itchenor, the Southerly brokerage. So that's the end of our time with her. She's been an amazing boat, an absolutely amazing boat. And I think, as I've already said today, in 10 years' time, we'll probably look to buy her back if we want to do some coastal sailing or do another Atlantic circuit. To answer some questions, and again, just to reiterate. They're all scrolling up so quickly. If we haven't answered them, please keep asking them and we'll just get to them. Diana asks, who is making the new boat? We can't tell you. There's a reason for that, and we've explained, but for those of you who are late to the party, the reason we can't tell you is that we want to make sure we want to be able to give you all the information at once, which is schematics and walkthroughs and performance figures and a lot of stuff, and we'll get them to you as soon as we can. We hope to be able to get that to you in a month or two. Someone else has asked about sail plans. What are we sailing with? We are looking, basic sail plan, large square cut main. We're looking at self-tacker. And then I think coloured sails, ideally I'm probably going to go with the Code D, Code 0, and a dedicated downwind symmetrical spinnaker. So I think that's what we want, and then a storm sail. So we have just kind of like, we've got a sail plan that we want to work with. So that's the first thing. DJ asks, joinery better be tight. Yep, I will be on that joinery. I will be a little bit
obsessive. I think, yeah.
And someone just said, for those of you, for the 1100 of you who are watching, we don't have as many thumbs up. So if you haven't liked this video, if you could please like it, it's really good for us. So yeah, that's that. So other things, as I said, we are going to put out a video this evening which has a link to our to either subscribe to our channel if you haven't already subscribed, but secondly, to subscribe to our newsletter, because we do realize that a lot of the information that we're going to be putting out is going to be text-based or schematic-based, and the best place to put that to you is going to be by sending you newsletters or putting it on our website. So for those of you that are going to be interested, because I do think that this is a first. Someone has already asked, oh, is this like La Vagabond? There are obviously similarities, but this boat is being, we've had a fairly, a say in the design of it. So it's not that, we're getting a boat that, it's
already in production.
It's already in production. We are literally sat down working with a naval architect to kind of build something which literally hope will tick every box that we've got. So it's different from that respect. And I don't think, you'll all correct me, I don't think it's been done yet to have a YouTube. I don't consider us to be YouTubers. I consider us to be sailors that have a YouTube channel, and that, I know it's semantics, but it is something that I really, I'm a sailor first. So for sailors to get involved with something that is going to go into production is, for us, it's huge. So yes, other questions that we may or may not have answered.
There was a question about if you have any questions that aren't related to this new boat, and someone asked, can I just clarify it's a catamaran? Yes, it's a catamaran. Then ask away. Obviously this is like the big news today, but if you have any other questions, then go for it. Chris, how many cabins? Can I say how many cabins? Three cabins. And again, there's a lot. So do you know what I mean? There are some really big design criteria that we put into this boat. I mean, some of the things we've kind of like worked with them are huge things, like huge things. Some of them are really minor things that where you're sitting there thinking, we've been onto so many boats and we're like, why did you not put a shelf there so that you can do something that, for instance, little things that I think are clever. For instance, let me just throw a couple at you that we would consider to be really minor points, but points that you're like, all right, well, why don't you do that? Shelving in cabins. There's never enough shelving. Why are there never USB points next to your shelves so that you can charge stuff? Why are you not using USB sockets that are actually mounted on flat surfaces rather on horizontal surfaces, so that rather than flat surfaces, so that you can use 12-volt lighting and move it around? Because nowadays, there is so much technology and it's almost disposable. So we are kind of working with them to kind of look to some things which are small but improve your quality of life hugely. So Declan asked,
Nadeem, thank you.
Oh, Nadeem, thank you so much. That's lovely. Declan did ask a follow-up question, which was, is the boat within the kind of 500,000 mark? But yeah, sorry, Declan, we can't say.
We can't tell you that. Another person's asked about a workshop. We are going to make sure that the functionality of one of the cabins does include a workshop, because that is something that was very, very high on our list, wasn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very high on the list of having. As I said, we're not new to sailing. We have been on a boat for 5 years now, and it doesn't matter how amazing the boat is, they all need work. You're always going to have a vice, you're going to have tools, and you need to have good lighting, and you need an area that you can do that. It's not the saloon table. So something which has a functionality of a workshop is big for us.
Right, so you guys are asking loads of questions about the nitty gritty of the new boat, and I think that this, more detailed information, as we said, we will be putting out in hopefully about kind of 6 to 8 weeks time. There are a couple of questions about what we're doing. This is a really good question, between getting back to the UK this year and taking delivery of River Race 2. And we're still working that out. we will definitely continue sailing, and we're just kind of trying to nail down exactly what that's going to mean. If you guys have any suggestions for us on where to go sailing and what to sail, then we will be very interested to know. But yes, we're going to continue sailing. We're just not quite sure how or what.
Just to go through some more electrical questions, so we're getting a lot of them. 100 watt USB power delivery is not viable at the moment. You're looking through USB. I don't 100 watt. I think you're looking probably a lot less than that. You need a transformer. So for us, 100 watt USB power delivery. Even the MacBook works. Even the new MacBook runs on an 86 watt power supply. So I think we'll probably continue to use that. But yeah, I don't think we're going to do that. We've also talked. Sam asks about moving from USB 2 to USB-C. I think we're actually going to get USB-C sockets put in rather than USB 2.0. And where we have appliances that require USB 2.0, use adapters from Amazon or something, because the industry standard is now USB-C. For those of you that watch the news as well, the European Parliament has just voted to standardise sockets, all phone sockets to USB-C now. So Apple can no longer put the Lightning connector if they want to sell in Europe. So USB-C is the industry standard and will be. And as much as we can future-proof a boat, we are looking at using USB-C for many, many things. As I said, 12-volt lighting sources for occasional lights and things like that. It's USB-C, and don't just put them in places where you're going to plug in a phone. Put them on a top where you can plug in a lamp. It's things that we don't use. We've lived on a 12-volt system for ages now, and there is almost nothing apart from things like microwaves and washing machines that can't use a 12 or 24-volt supply. Bringing us swiftly on to people that have asked are using 12 or 24 volts. I don't know yet. It may actually be a dual voltage system. Again, there you go.
Dan and Tisha said toilets like the winds. I think you're talking about the composting toilets. No, we're going to have. Are we having electric toilets?
Yep. Yeah, no more jabs go. NW Backcountry says USB-C can power a laptop. It can, but it's to do with put it this way: we've got 2 MacBooks because of our editing. So mine is newer, and really, the new MacBook. It's so power intensive that the charger can't keep up with it, and that's an 86 watt charger. So USB is in principle can, but it's to do with how much power it draws. So there's yes. KJC9 Trader asks, can you mention how this relationship with the builder came about? It was a strange conversation that we got into, and literally they're such nice people that it was just an organic conversation.
It was very organic.
It was really organic, and it was literally. Yeah, I'm not going to divulge anymore because it will all come to pass. But it was just a very organic conversation, and they're very, very forward thinking, and that's what we liked about them. Samantha says, just bought a USB-C charger for my car today, and it seems to work well with my MacBook Pro. It will work with Teresa's, but not with mine. As I said, my 2019 MacBook, which I need for editing, it's literally, we had to buy, our 86 watt charger just about keeps up with things, with the charging when I'm running Final Cut. Paul Spurbeck says HF radios. That's an interesting one. HF, for those of you who don't know, is SSB radio, high frequency radio. Don't think so. I think it's a protocol that we don't need anymore. So there you go.
Yep. Okay, so any questions? Maybe we can move away from the new Catamaran and ask any other questions that you guys have for the moment. There's been a few questions about our canal boat series, and we are almost at the end of that series. Yep. We have another Q&A to come out, which was our patrons submitting questions about our experience on the French canals, and we've already released one Q&A video, and we've got another one coming out very soon. And that will just about wrap up that series. And then we have another few episodes from our time in La Rochelle. And then we've got quite a few other episodes also lined up for you before we move on to our God, our 5th season. That will be
crazy. How did that come about?
Yeah, I have no idea how that happened. So Mike says, 2021 sailing grounds. What are your 2021 sailing grounds? That's an excellent question, and one that we can't divulge just yet, not least because we're not 100% sure ourselves.
Yep.
We're our goal is to get to the South Pacific. So wherever we start out, we will be moving swiftly on and getting to the South Pacific, because we just want to go to some remote places and go sailing in that amazing cruising ground. So another question, did you take the canal from the Med to Bordeaux, and how long did it take? Yes, we took the French canals from Arles on the Mediterranean side to Bordeaux on the Atlantic side. And we have an entire series about that entire process, and you can find that on our YouTube channel. There's a playlist titled, I think, French Canals or something similar. So you'll be able to find all the information that you could possibly need
over there. And again, for those of you who are new to this particular live stream, if you haven't already liked or subscribed to what we do, could you please do so, because it does help us.
Another question from S&M saying, how did you get started sailing? We actually made a video about that.
It's actually really popular, actually, in getting people to sail. So we talk a lot about stuff, and actually so just to combine multiple questions in a sort of like Street Fighter style combo. Someone's asked about boat shows this year. We are almost 100% going to be at Annapolis. It is our honeymoon. We love you all so much. We've kind of forsaken going on honeymoon to come to the Annapolis boat show with you. So we literally are coming straight from our wedding to America.
Yes.
So
hilarious.
Yeah. So at the Annapolis boat show, we as yet to be confirmed, because they haven't started to organise stuff. We hope to be able to, I hope to be able to give a seminar with Teresa assisting.
Assisting?
Well, it's visa requirements, isn't it? Because you're on visa.
Oh, yeah, I'll be on a different visa.
Yeah, on a different visa, so it'll be my seminar, with Teresa assisting or just watching on.
I might as well just take a back seat.
About kind of like cruising, how to get cruising, obstacles to cruising, obstacles to how to get you from not being a full-time liveaboard to kind of living the life that we do. And it's obviously, if money and health are not there, then it doesn't even start. But there's a lot of stuff that, a lot of obstacles that you can try and overcome. And so hopefully it's going to be like a bit of a motivational speech stroke, just my manifesto on life. So strap yourselves in and bring a sugary drink.
KJC9 Trader says, where are you living in the meantime? Do you own a house? No, we will be homeless. So we'll be staying with very patient parents, and also as we said before, we're going to continue sailing as much as possible, and we're still working out what that's going to look like. But we don't have a home other than our boat, so we'll be, I guess, sort of homeless for a while. So
Sam says, in between boats, do you want to go sailing with viewers? That's a question which has almost two answers to it. Firstly, don't do that.
I'm sorry.
Don't do it. Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Firstly, sailing with viewers, there's two things. One, do we want to go sailing on other people's boats? Yeah, why not? If we get the chance to, we always love catching up with fans and other people, whether it's a drink or going for a quick sail. But at the moment, our year is looking super busy, believe it or not. We have a lot of stuff going on in the next 12 months, aside from a wedding that is super exciting, and we're kind of hopefully trying to move things around to kind of like spend time with followers and fans and friends. That's the second thing is I think our next patron reward is actually sailing on our boat with patrons, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a sailing experience with our patrons. So
we
hope that will be on our boat, but we don't know for sure yet. Obviously timing plays a part there.
Yeah.
There's another question there that was really good, and now you've lost it. I can't remember what it is. Oh yeah, Lee Miller says, when in Guernsey there's a Ruby Rose tattoo studio.
Oh, we're going there then. We're going there. I need a new one actually. That's that. I'm trying to think what else. Someone talked about Starlink. We saw Starlink in the sky the other day in France. It was like mad. It was really crazy watching 60 little dots fly across the sky in a line.
Like the apocalypse, or like an alien invasion or something. Chris says, what about the Baltic? I would love to sail the Baltic, Chris. I really would. Unfortunately, the Baltic has a very, For us, it has a very short sailing season. For the crazy Scandinavians, they obviously sail there like year round, but we would only sail there in the summer. So yeah. Okay.
I think we've been going for a while now, and really, if you have any more final burning questions that we haven't managed to answer yet, please let us know, to run through everyone who has maybe since come to the performance late. The prize giveaway was at the very beginning, so what we will do, we did this last time, we'll put timestamps for you in the description, so you'll be able to find the bits. Any final questions? We'll take the last questions and then answer those, and then we'll head off to have lunch. It's 11:30 in the morning here in Australia. So Dan asks, will the new boat be at Annapolis? One of the boats, if not our boat, a version of our boat, another one of them will be at Annapolis, hopefully with 21, and we're hoping for that. Murray says, how long did it take for you to buy a car? I'm assuming he means cat. That was a year. It took us a year. I Forever Immature asks a question that we actually answered on the Patron feed, was, will you ask the mast camera? We are hoping to add both an infrared, a night vision camera and a mast camera to the boat for safety and for cinematography, so that we can kind of really kind of like, that's going to be pretty amazing. So so Jennifer says, may I vote for more travel-y videos this year? Look, we always like filming.
You definitely can put your vote in for that, Jennifer. We're always up for travelling.
We are we do well. Look, when we go inland, we tend to video the places that we go to. Last year we went to Seville, videoed Seville. We went to Thailand. One of our sailing videos in Thailand is time in Bangkok. And a lot of you tend to get a lot of people saying, why are you filming something that's not sailing? And other people like yourself, Jennifer, who really want to see other bits as well that aren't just sailing. So we've really kind of got to the point where, rather than being pulled and pushed in different directions, we just do what we think we like. We just do what we want. AM Luca, after an hour and 10 minutes, says, which boat did you buy? You have to go back and watch
it all.
Yeah,
we've already discussed this. Okay.
So Jason actually says, I think this is one of the last questions, 24/7 live boat cam. I actually think that's something we would probably consider, but in building the new boat, we will get a PowerPoint put in, a power supply put in, and hopefully get some sort of way of streaming it live. Again, we're really kind of keen on innovation, not just in sailing, but in how we can deliver content to you. So there's a lot of stuff that we're looking to do. So as we go through the design of the new boat to kind of get her to sail, we'll be looking into all this. So I think that's about all we have to tell you. So it's been a blast. It's been a blast. I am back in France in 2 weeks, and then we'll be sailing. So I'll be in France for a couple of 3 weeks, just getting the boat ready while Teresa's in Australia. So if everyone fancies a beer, let me know. As I said, Chris, who's saying he'll be in La Roche-Bernard, we will be there at some point, so we will we're hopefully passing you. So we'll hope to be catching up with anyone who's available in Western France this season, and that's it. So I think we can say goodbye to you.
Yes, I think we can.
It's been pretty awesome. We'll be back with a live feed as soon as we're back together, which will be in France someplace. Yes. And again, we are fortunate while we're in Australia to have really awesome internet. So next time the internet's not so good, apologies, there's not a lot we can do with that. And again, as I said, it's been awesome. We will hope to answer all your questions. For those of you who haven't liked what we've done and subscribe to our channel, please do, because it's really good. We're almost at 100,000. It's like so close, and the closer we get to 100,000, the slower it seems to get. So we're going to try and do something for 100,000 party, and I'm not quite sure. So all suggestions, sensible or otherwise, for 100,000 party, let us know, and we will try and get something organised. So that's that really. So
all right.
whatever you choose to do, have an amazing, amazing Sunday
or Monday,
wherever you are in the world. So that's us signing out from our first live stream of 2020. I hope you found it informative.